Imagine you are sitting in a Salesforce interview and the interviewer asks you this question. Can you walk me through a real-world scenario where you used an invocable method in Salesforce? And why did you choose Apex over a standard flow action? Now, here is a simple and strong way to answer this question in an interview. Sure. In one of my projects, we had a business requirement where whenever an expense report was approved, the system needed to automatically create a related expense payment record and send a confirmation email to the person who submitted it. Now, this logic was a bit too complex to handle inside a flow alone. It involved creating records, sending emails, and we also needed this same logic to be reusable across multiple flows in the future. So we used an invocable method. We wrote an Apex class with the invocable method annotation. The method accepted a list of expense report records, looped through them, checked if the status was approved, created the related payment record, and sent the email. Then we simply called this method from a flow that was triggered when the expense report was submitted for approval. The key benefit here was that the flow handled the approval steps, and the Apex handled the heavy logic. We kept both clean and focused, and because it was an invocable method, any other flow or process in the org could reuse that same Apex action without rewriting the logic. A simple way to remember this is use Flow for the user journey and use Invocable Apex when you need power, reusability, or external system calls behind the scenes. Now let us talk about 2 or 3 follow-up questions the interviewer might ask and how to think about answering them. The first follow-up might be, why not just put all this logic directly inside the flow using standard flow elements? The honest answer here is that flow is great for straightforward automation, but it has limits. When your logic involves complex calculations, external API calls, or needs to be reused across multiple flows, putting everything inside flow becomes difficult to maintain and can hit performance limits. Invocable Apex gives you more control, better error handling, and keeps your flows clean and simple. Just say that clearly and you will sound very grounded. The second follow-up might be, how do you make sure your invocable method handles bulk records properly? Here, the key point is bulkification. Your method should always accept a list of records, not a single record. This means if 100 records are processed at once, your method handles them all in one call instead of making 100 separate calls. This prevents you from hitting Salesforce governor limits. Mention that you avoid DML operations inside loops and process everything in collections. That answer alone will impress most interviewers. The third follow-up might be, have you ever used Invocable Apex with an external system? If you have, great, share that example. If not, you can still answer confidently by saying, yes, Invocable Apex supports callouts to external systems by setting callout equals true in the annotation. A common enterprise use case is when a flow needs to send a WhatsApp message or trigger a third-party API. The flow calls the invocable Apex, and the Apex handles the external API call. This pattern, flow to Apex to external system, is clean, scalable, and future-ready, especially as Agentforce AI agents can also call the same invocable methods to make intelligent automation decisions. If you keep your answer simple, structured, and backed with a small real-world example like the expense report scenario, you will come across as confident and clear in your interview. You do not need to memorize every line of code. Just understand the why, the what, and the benefit, and you will do great.